From the winding streets of Chicago, we take you to Barcelona, a circuit that has hosted events from the Olympics to Formula One. Following Mick Cleric's first win of the season last week, we have an interesting battle shaping up at the top for the F1 Championship here in the Grand Prix Legends. It's going to be fun to watch live here on the Global Sim Racing channel. Hi, I'm Chad Irvine. Here with me in the booth today, as always, is Ryan Walker. Our director is the legendary Sean Ambrose, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Let's learn more about the circuit by taking a look at this week's track guide.
Welcome to Circuit de Barcelona. The home of the Spanish Grand Prix for nearly 30 years, it's easy to forget that this is a relatively recently built track in Europe. It's known for its long, sweeping corners and hosts the highest level of open-wheel and motorcycle racing. Placing an emphasis on a good aerodynamic setup with high downforce cars, it's often overlooked that it offers plenty of overtaking for lower-tier racing as well. In fact, most don't take into account that this adaptable track has 5 different layouts to choose from. These range from the nearly 3-mile-long Grand Prix version to the minuscule 1-mile club circuit. Because of the pit straight being the longest acceleration zone, Elf is the most likely spot for drivers to get it past them. After that, your next hope might be into La Caixa, which, depending on which layout you use, could be a sharpened set of 2 turns or one long hairpin with an opening radius. In the early 2000s, a chicane was added close to the end of the lap, but the old Europe car corner can still be run. The Spanish fans have some gorgeous views from the many hills dotted along the track. And with the international fame this place has built over time, it's no wonder they're almost always full come race day.
And Ryan, it was a little different last week going to a street course where there's danger around every corner, but what can we expect to see here today at Barcelona?
Yeah, this Barcelona track has been around for a while on iRacing, and I think things to expect today around this 2.94 mile track. I think expect plenty of slipstream battles, especially on that home straight, and the best passing opportunities are going to be into turn 1 and possibly into turn 4, what's his Repsol, or even heading down that back straight and heading down to turn 10. But yeah, on the other hand, passing is going to be difficult, and I think the only way for these drivers to make a move is if the driver in front of them makes a mistake. And this Barcelona track, I think, will provide a great race today.
Yeah, it's been great racing all season long. Last week, Mick Cleric got his first win of the season, so he is now within 25 points. He's tied for second with Topi Courtniemi, but Rob Olenek still on top there in the Formula 1 standings. And then Formula 2, it is Pekka Risto on top, followed by Dave Cohn and Hideki Koivisto. And the Nations Cup is the USA leading Finland by quite a hefty margin, with the UK about 50 points behind Finland for third. So it's been a fun season to watch so far. Only 5 races to go. And it's been spectacular watching these guys week in and week out. This is my first season here in the Grand Prix Legends series, and it's been so much fun watching these guys at so many different tracks. So yeah, let's take a look here. Ryan, why don't you take us through our race details tonight?
Absolutely. This is the 8th round of the season, and yeah, it's hard to believe that we're coming to the end of the season already. So it feels like it was only yesterday that the season started, but the race length for today will be 20 laps. The setup is always open, so you're free to make any changes, with the incident limit being 17x, so it will be a penalty, or if you get to 25x, so you will be disqualified from the race.
Yeah, and we haven't seen those incidents come into impact races too much yet this season, but with as aggressive as you can be on the throttle and under braking here with a couple of long straightaways, you could definitely see some off tracks pile up, even though this isn't the most notable, most well-known track to collect those incidents on. Man, these guys are just absolutely putting on a show week in and week out, and it's going to be so much fun here at Barcelona.
Yep, absolutely. I have to say the season so far has been absolutely brilliant. There's been close racing up at the front and the midfield, and there's been plenty of battles in the championship as well. And I think it's hard to predict who will win the championship this season, but pretty much the man that's been on form, or was on form last week, was Mick Claridge. Pretty much put it into his usual display.
Yeah, these guys at the front of the field, the front three, week in and week out, have all been right there with one another. And it's been so much fun to watch the battle between Olenek, Courtniemi, and Claridge every single week, with a couple of other drivers up there as well, kind of flashing in and out of those top three. But man, these guys have just been having so much fun with it. This is a look there at the one car of Mick Claridge, guy who won last week on the streets of Chicago, and he's going to come around. I believe this is his out lap, so he's going to have 2 laps here to run where he can try to take the top spot. It's a very competitive track. We talked about the long straightaway right here. It's one of the longest that I'm aware of here on iRacing. It feels very long, at least, and there is an elevation change to it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's found this track as well. Is you've got straights and you've got the long sweeping corners as well, like this one at Claridge is coming around at the moment. It's easy to drift around that corner as well and maybe lose the car, but at the moment, as Claridge is in the middle of his first qualifying lap, and it's normally with the qualifying laps as well, the second one seems to be the quickest one once the tyres get up to temperature and get some heat into them.
Yeah, and these guys really making it look easy out there, as you see Snelson here flying around through the latter half lap. 2 more corners for him, a couple of 90-degree right-hand corners, and he's going to come across the line to take the first time of the session here in qualifying. You see him off the final corner there, tires on the curbing. He's across the line with a 140.989. He's going to be bumped almost immediately by Toby Courtniemi, who goes to the top with a 139.496.
And Watson Benjamin Zocco coming across the line now. It looks like he's just starting his. Actually, I'll say that again. Take that back. He's slotted into 5th position at the moment. As Claridge comes across the line now, what's he going to do? It looks like it's going to be 39.3. So Mick Claridge to the top.
An absolute flyer over almost 2/10 clear of Topi Courtniemi. But your top 3, as always, it seems, is Mick Claridge, Topi Courtniemi, and Rob Olenek. And these guys just having so much fun out there. 3 minutes left in qualifying. Here's Eugenio Massa with a little bit of a slower lap, 143.407. Then Ove Tringrade, another guy that we've seen kind of fighting near the front of the pack at times this season. He's got a couple more corners to go before he sets his first lap here in qualifying.
Yeah, there's Ove Tringrade coming around the final couple of corners now, and it looks like he's not going to qualify up at the front, but it looks like his lap will put him somewhere in the middle of the top 10 as he does a 139.6. So Ove Tringrade slots into 4th position at the moment. As I take it back, Michel Dignon pops ahead of him into 4th.
Yeah, I mean, Ove Tringrade had that 4th spot for all of about 2 seconds until Michel Dignon took that spot away from Bruce Nelson. Again, here on his 2nd lap, not going to improve as he comes across the line. He's going to sit in the 10th position for the moment with that 140.9. Here's Benjamin Socco once again. A 140.7 was good enough for 6th on his first lap. Across the line on his 2nd, does not improve, but very consistent with another 139.7. As here it comes Mick Claridge on his 2nd lap, and he's on an absolute flyer.
Yeah, absolutely, but he doesn't improve his time. So Mick Claridge, at the moment, it looks like he'll be starting 2nd on the grid, but we've still got some other people out on the track at the moment finishing their qualifying laps. So Hideki Koivisto at the moment that we're watching is in 15th at the moment, and Matthew Maudsley coming around the final corner, and it looks like he's going to do a 142.3. So Matthew Maudsley, that puts him up to 15th place.
It looks like there's a handful of guys that have not taken times yet, so we're going to have to see if they can fill out the rest of the grid. This is Ove Tringrade, currently sitting in the 5th spot with a 139.690. So he is right there on the cusp. He can improve just a tenth or two. But I don't think we've seen anybody go faster on their second lap yet. Here he comes out of the final corner, and he proves me wrong right away with a 139.420. Michel Dudouin now with improving by 1/1000th of a second. So Trengrade goes up to the third spot, and Dudouin stays in fifth. Gwendolyn Old comes across with a 141.7, so that's good enough for, that's pretty far down on the grid. That's 15th at the moment.
Yep, looking at Chris Marikami's coming around the final corner to complete his final qualifying lap by the looks of it, and he comes across the line, and that looks like Chris Marikami is up into 11th place at the moment in qualifying, just outside the top 10.
A couple guys still out there setting times, as we see, I believe it's going to be Eugenio Massa coming across the line next. And Eugenio does not improve, it looks like, with a 142.795. That's still good enough for the 19th spot. Matthew Maudsley with a 141.7 currently in the 16th spot as well. So get ready to wrap up qualifying here. Looks like there's going to be a handful of guys that decided not to take times. And let's take a look at our starting grid here today from Barcelona in the Grand Prix legends. Topi Courtniemi, Mick Claridge on row number 1. Some familiar faces at the front of the field with Ove Trengrade and Rob Olenek up there as well. Michel Dudouin and Antti Kärnen make up row number 3. Then John Olsen and Pekka Risto on row number 4. And wrapping up the top 10, it's Benjamin Soko and Robert Plumley in the 10th spot.
Starting outside the top 10 and 11th is Chris Marikami with Yuri Geisen on side him in 12th. Bruce Nelson in 13th with Michael Gingsinger in 14th. Wendell and Old 15th. Matthew Maudsley 16th. Hideki Koivisto 17th. 18th is Steve O'Malley. Eugenio Massa in 19th. And rounding out the 20 is Dave Cohen.
And in 21st is Douglas Nelson, followed by Jordan Soko. And then the rest of the field did not take times. That includes Don Good, Robert Reynolds, Roland Wallbank, Bob Bossman, and Daniel Teish in the 27th spot, wrapping up the field. We'll have to see if they take to the grid here today. But right now, drivers starting to fill out the field here, and the revs are rising, the hearts are pumping. We're going to have to see who can outlast the field here in Barcelona. We're off in the Grand Prix Legends from Barcelona.
Topi Courtniemi got a great start off the line there and managed to get ahead of Mick Claridge as they head down to turn 1. Turn 1 is one of those. Oh, as Mick Claridge comes so close to making contact with Topi Courtniemi, but manages just to slow down.
They're still side by side for the lead. Rob Olenek, though, holding on to the third spot. He got some curbing on the inside of turn number 1, almost shot him across the track into Trengrade, but they were able to keep it clean. Now they go into this tight right-hander, and Rob Olenek goes off. He goes wide. Only loses 1 spot, fortunately, but he is now down into the 4th position behind Ove Trengrade, and they're still side by side at the front of the field.
Yeah, Mick Claridge is trying to make a move already, and pretty much wants to try and get on with it, and he's managed to get up the inside and make the move on Courtniemi up into the lead, but Topi is not giving up by any means, and contact!
Oh, and upside down. Oh no. That's your championship leader. Still side by side though at the front now for the lead with Courtniemi and Trengrade now, and these guys are getting right back into it. We're gonna have to see if McClurge can. I believe it's going to be too much damage for that car to continue. We're going to have to see, but still up at the front, it's a 3-car break with Courtniemi, Trengrade, and Olenek. And then just behind him, just a little bit, is Michel Dudouin in the 4th spot.
Yeah, that was real unfortunate for Claridge, but still looking at his battle for the lead as they come across to complete lap 1. Cortinemi is lost the lead to Trengrade as well, but it looks like Cortinemi's got the run in Trengrade, heading down to turn 1. Can Cortinemi get up the inside and make the move stick? He's a bit sketchy under braking, but it looks like he's just about to... Oh, actually I was about to say I thought he had the move done, but Trengrade fights back.
So now the 3-car break, as mentioned, Trengrade, Cortinemi, and Olenek, your front 3. Then Benjamin Soko up into the 4th spot, up 5 positions from where he started. Just an absolute flyer from the number 6 Australian car of Benjamin Soko. And he's catching the leaders. He's about half a second off of the 3rd place of Rob Olenek.
Rider on board of Benjamin Soko at the moment, and yeah, great start from him. He pretty much avoided all that mayhem and managed to gain a few positions and up into 4th place at the moment, and not too far behind the top 3, as you can see in front of him.
And Pekka Risto seems to be following him through as well. He started 8th, he's up to 5th, right behind Benjamin Soko. So have to see. Let's take a look back at that replay of the incident between your leaders at the start of this race, because it was quite the incident. It was very spectacular with McClaren going on his lid. Go here through this left-hander. Gonna go down a long straightaway here. Where is it coming?
I'm wondering if Claridge might have maybe slowed down more than expected, or might have missed a shift when yeah, that was a weird one. That how quickly Toppy closed in on before the corner entry.
Yeah, I think that... Oh, we got to move for the lead here as Ove Trengrade.
Oh!
Makes the point. Oh, and he goes, the back end steps out. He's going to lose a couple of spots down to 4th. And he's going to have some work to do if he wants to get back up to the front of this field.
Yeah, what is going on? Everyone's... most of the quick guys are having issues. First Claridge and now Trengrade having issues with a half spin, but pretty much... pretty much up at the front, it's Cortinemi and Olenek going at it and pulling away from Benjamin Soko in 3rd place.
We do have, it looks like, 2 retirements for the moment. Antti-Kiernan and Mick Claridge are the ones sitting on pit lane. Gonna have to see if they can't get back out there or not. But Ove Trengrade still at the front of the field, has opened quite the gap. Have to see what happens here as this race continues.
Yep, as they head down this back straight now and heading down to this lawn sweeping hairpin, and still at the moment it's Cortinemi leading this race from Rob Olenek, but further back in the pack we've got a battle with Pekka Risto and John Olsen starting to develop for what looks like 5th place.
Yeah, and it was interesting because these guys really caught each other quick. Michel Dudenon was in between the 2 of them, and he had a huge moment, lost multiple seconds, so he's dropped multiple positions now, but Pekka Risto doing everything he can to hold on to the top 5 finishing position.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's John Olsen's slowly closing up on the slipstream heading down turn 1, but I don't think he can make a move at Toppy Cortinemi with the fastest lap of the race so far, but looking at this battle still for 5th place between Risto and Olsen, and I think Olsen's just kind of just hanging back there, if they just watching how Pekka Risto gets on, because I think he's just waiting for Risto to make a mistake.
Yeah, fast lap from Cortinemi was 0.3 faster than anybody in the race. This is a little further back here. This is 8th, 9th, and 10th. You see there, as Grinzinger doing everything he can to catch right back up to Gleason and going on board here with Chris Murakami. We've seen him in this car multiple times this season, make some spectacular passes. Gonna have to see if he can't do the same here as he's close again to Grinzinger for the 9th spot. Thought about diving to the inside as he's very quick under braking, but unfortunately can't get a move done.
I think his best opportunity is on this back straight if he can get a good run on the exit. And it looks like he has got a good run because he's starting to close up on the Grinzinger heading down to this mini hairpin, and not close enough, but he doesn't take the risk and try and throw it up the inside.
That's the thing about these sunrise races, is you see the blinding sun peeking over the trees and the grandstands at times here. It can get very distracting. It can make you miss braking markers. It can be very troubling sometimes, especially on a track like this, where we've seen a difference of about a 20-yard difference in braking points cause an incident with your leaders already. But let's jump further up in the field to P3. This is Soko and Trengrade battling for the 3rd spot. And I have to see what's going to happen here as Topi Courtniemi starts to pull away. Benjamin Soko just doing everything he can to hold on to that 3rd spot. They're about 2 or 3 seconds behind Rob Olenek.
Yeah, it looks like Trengrade's got a great, well, I was about to say, it looked like Trengrade got a great run there, but he lost a little bit of momentum. So Soko holds on to 3rd place for the moment, but I think Owe Trengrade I think he might be frustrated after that little mistake into turn 1.
Yeah, that's one thing I noticed about Soko compared to some other drivers in this field. He's running maybe a half a line to a full lane out away from the curbing on some of those sweeping corners. And what that's going to allow him to do is keep more momentum, but he does have to take a longer radius through the corner. He might be able to get a better launch off, but he does concede some time in the corner itself. So we're going to have to see how that plays out for Soko. As peeking out of line just a little bit is Trengrade. Is he going to make the move? I don't think he's going to be there quite yet. Oh, that was close on entry.
Yeah, this is great defensive driving from Soko. He's not doing anything too erratic and just sticking his car in the right places at the moment. But if Trengrade can get a good exit on the final corner, I think he might be able to have Soko down the home straight as they're coming round to the final corner now. And Trengrade is closer, but I don't think he's close enough at the moment.
Not close enough. Courtniemi's still up top, but is going to make the move now around the outside of turn number 1. He is alongside, but is going to get clear. Oh, by a mile. He is about 2 car lengths ahead already, but he's going to get it on the fight back. Switch back once again. Here comes Soko. Not going to be there yet, but who's going to get the better launch off the corner? Peeking down to the inside once again, still not there. This is a very dangerous dangerous corner that we've seen a couple of times, catching drivers out. It's a lot tighter than one might expect just from looking at the track map and comparing it to other corners on the circuit. But it's caught a couple of drivers out with the back end coming around there through turn number 4.
Is ahead onto his back straight now, and yeah, it looks like Risto's lost that position to Dudion as well. So Michel Dudion, it looks like there's a battle about to spice up as well with John Olsen being closed down by Dudion, and behind Dudion you've got Risto. So you've got a freeway battle going. Just about to start, or I was about to say a freeway battle, but it looks like Risto's fallen back a little bit, so this battle will be between Olsen and Dudion. Again, I've said it before, it's a bit strange seeing Dudion this far back. Normally he's up at the front challenging for podiums or even wins.
Yeah, and Olsen doing a great job of holding off Dudion for the time being. Dudion, the 2nd highest iRating in the field, the 2nd highest skill level as it's determined by your finishing position in every race and stuff like that. But doing a great job for John Olsen, the 11th, number 11 car, holding off the number 2 of Michel Dudion. I'm going to have to see because Dudion's been very aggressive at times in this race, and he's all over the gearbox of John Olsen.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's just a matter of time before Olsen loses that position, as I thought Dudion was going to throw it out the inside there, but he decides against it, just decides to wait for the moment, and I think he's going to wait until his back straight to try and make a move if he's close enough.
Yeah, and the thing is, I've noticed from calling these races week in and week out is just how patient guys can be. It's only lap 7 out of 20, and really, they're just very smart, very calculated, methodical about when they're going to make their move. And there you see that sun that I was talking about, very bright, just peeking over the trees, and it kind of does reflect off of the racing surface a little differently and might help you miss your braking marker if you're not paying close enough attention to where that is on the track. But making that, completing the pass was Michel Dudion around John Olsen. So Olsen down to the 6th spot, and Pekka Risto now about 2 seconds back. Let's drop a little further back where the 8th position, Chris Murakami is all over the back of Gleason for the 8th spot.
And it's good to see Yuri back on track as well. He's raced in the series in the past and doing well in the top 10 and 8th place at the moment, but Chris Murakami, like you say, is right behind him and closed him down. And I think Chris Murakami as well is one of those drivers that we know he's not afraid to make a move if he sees an opportunity, so don't be surprised if he tries to make a move into turn 4.
Yeah, you see him kind of peeking the nose into pressure, trying to get some front bite into the car going into the corner. Chris Murakami doing everything he can right now to try to work his way up into that 8th spot. And I'm noticing, is that some front nose damage there on Murakami? It looks like there's some, the front end is bent up just a little bit. Yeah, you see the scrapes on there as well. That seems to be a normal thing in these cars, but there was a gap there just in front of that front right suspension in the nose paneling that definitely was not normal. He got into some contact with somebody early on in this race, and you can see just how dented up that front end is. Gonna have to see if that impacts the handling, as this is gonna be the battle between, I believe that Hideki Koivisto, yes, and Matthew Maudsley for the 11th spot right now, as Topi Kotkaniemi sets another fastest lap of the race, 139.319. And that's well clear. That's almost half a second clear of Rob Olenik's fastest lap of the race so far. But here's Hideki Koivisto doing everything he can just to hold on to that 11th spot, as he's feeling the pressure for both Maudsley and Old right behind him.
Yeah, Maudsley's got the run down, heading down the home straight, and it looks like Maudsley's going to try and go for a move. He pulls out from the slipstream, but I don't think it's going to be close enough to make a move up the inside, and I think he decides to back out of it.
Very smart, methodical, and patient driving for the time being. But Old right there as well, waiting to capitalize if something happens to either of the drivers in front. It's a very interesting battle for this position here, because there's multiple cars all right in a line with each other. And a lot of times we see large gaps throughout the field, but really there seems to be a fairly even spread of drivers. As right now, you know, the leaders are working their way through turns 10 and 11. But I mean, all the cars basically through every corner for the moment, all the way back to turn number 3. So very evenly spaced field for the moment, and guys are ready to pounce if anybody in front of them makes a mistake.
Yeah, absolutely. This battle for a lead still going on at the moment, but currently being led by Koivisto and Old and just behind as well. So that's the thing with this Barcelona track as well, but it's pretty much, it's sometimes difficult to pass, but if someone runs wide, you can most of the time around this track, if they make a mistake, pick up the pieces and pick up the places and gain position. So at the moment I think Glendale and Old might just be sitting there in the background watching what these guys are getting up to, as Maudsley again got a great exit on the final corner and has got the run on Koivisto, Glendale and Old, sorry.
Yeah, and it's interesting because if you look back behind Guadalupe, you got Matthew Maudsley and Bruce Snelson right there as well. So all of these guys just kind of in a little freight train working their way around the track, and almost some contact there between Koivisto and Old is the same thing we saw with your leaders on lap number 1. Koivisto just wasn't expecting Old to break so early, but you have to when you're carrying that much speed from being in the slipstream for such a long straightaway.
Indeed, as the head round Repsol now, and still is at the moment it's Koivisto still leading this pack, but in front of him Michael Greengerzinger has managed to pull away from him, so pretty much Koivisto might be struggling, or he's just lacking a bit of pace at the moment.
This is a look up at the front of the field. Number 4 car of Topi Kotkaniemi up to about a 4-second lead over Rob Olenik. And it's he just got by the lapped car of Robert Reynolds, but I mean, Courtney just absolutely putting on a clinic right now. Hasn't put a tire wrong so far, as he is currently about 4 seconds or so ahead of Rob Olenek in his fastest lap, 139.319, 4/10 faster than Robbo's at a 139.728. So this is a look now at Rob Olenek. You see the lap car there of Reynolds going up the inside, and he's going to go through, and Rob Olenek with a 140.072. That's comparable to everybody around him in the field, but he's still going to be losing a little bit of time to both Trengarade and Courtney right around him.
Yeah, it just seems to be at Courtney's got into that zone of, and just pulled away at the moment, and pretty much has a commanding lead. But as further back in the field as well, they've still got the battle for P12 going on as well. It looks like they're about to go free wide. Oh, who was that? I looked like I was Matthew Maudsley. That was Nelson, sorry.
Yeah, Bruce Nelson into the grass, losing 2 spots. And take a look here at the onboard with him, because that was a very interesting way to lose that car. That's actually onboard, yeah, with Nelson going up the inside, gets past 1. Oh, and just too much braking on turn in, and the back end stepped out onto the grass just a little bit. But a fantastic catch to the car there for Nelson. He started that making that move from the back of that 3-car train, and he's going to maintain position there, as you see him losing just about a car length or 2 to these other guys. But he's we got a move for I believe that's going to be for the 13th spot, as it's going to be Coivisto trying to get around Maudsley.
Yeah, I think it was Maudsley trying to make a move on Coivisto, but I think Maudsley just decided to back out. As further up at the front as well, as rider on board with Zoko, and it looks like they've got a bit of a battle going on for 4th place now between the two of these drivers.
So Michel Dudon getting around Benjamin Soko for the moment. But these guys have been fighting very hard between the two of them the entire race, so I'm gonna have to wait and see how this one plays out. This top 5 are all drivers in the top 6 in terms of iRating into this race. The skill, really, the cream rises to the top here, and these guys just absolutely flying. Already over halfway through this race. Time really flies when you're having fun, especially here on iRacing, and glad you guys are joining us here this morning on the Global Sim Racing channel. Been such a fun one so far, as we still have 9 more laps to go. Your leader has a couple more corners to make it now down to 8, but these guys fighting very hard for that 4th spot.
Dudon got a bit sideways there in the middle of that left and right section, and they manages to just hold it though. But as they come around the final couple of corners now, again Dudon getting a bit sideways there, and it's allowing Zoko the opportunity to keep up with him and possibly close that gap. And as they come across the line now, Zoko might try and get a run, but he's not close enough this time around. So in front of them, it looks like they've got either a back marker, or it looks like Ove Trengrade.
Yeah, Ove Trengrade lost another second or so to Rob Olenek, who's currently in the 2nd spot. But he's losing a little bit of time here and there, but he's hanging on to that 3rd spot for now. Gonna have to see if he can't continue to hold off Dudon and Soko if they decide to tuck in line. And both of them lock up. That was a huge lock up there from both Soko and Dudon. They overdrove that quarter incredibly. We're gonna jump all the way back to P number 12 with Hideki Coivisto, Matthew Maudsley, as well as Bruce Nelson right there, just nose to tail, as they work their way through a long sweeping right-hander. Now onto the straightaway. I mean, you can't put a piece of paper between these cars. They are just absolutely not giving each other a bit of space out there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a fantastic racing between these 3, and I think as Coivisto gets a bit sideways under braking, and as that gives Matthew Maudsley the opportunity to get the run, but Coivisto goes to the inside to defend. Can Maudsley try and hold it on the outside and get the move done? No, he can't.
Hey, he's still there, though. He's not going to miss this opportunity to try to advance up through the fields. Everybody wants every position they can possibly get. And look how tucked into that slipstream he is there, that of Maudsley, just doing everything he can just to get every bit of speed out of that car. A little bit wide through there. He's going to try the cutback move here, cut across the nose then of Snelson, but can he get the launch off the corner? It doesn't seem like he can yet. Now they're going to work their way through the final couple of corners here onto the front straightaway. And they're going to have to see, with 7 laps to go, can these guys get themselves sorted out in a clean and efficient manner to where they can... Oh, and a huge move there from Snelson. He's alongside. Last time he did this, it did not work out. And he thought better of it, braked a little bit earlier this time, and just tucks back into that third spot in line right there. That's the 14th spot.
Indeed, as if these three are so close together, it looks like they've got a back marker pulling to the inside to let these guys by into Repsol corner, and it looks like Coivisto ran slightly wide there, and it's gave Maudsley the opportunity in the run to try and make a move, but decides not to try and go around the outside and just stay behind. I think this back straight is possibly his best passing opportunity.
Yeah, so that's Coivisto leading Maudsley, leading Snelson, who's lost a couple of car lengths there, but Coivisto doing everything he can still to hold on as Maudsley peeks to the inside. Can't get it there. Now he's going to be on the outside here through this right-hander. I think he was considering going for the crossover move there, as the inside was open on Coivisto, but could not get it done there. Holds it to the outside, and he's going to cut back, get a huge run on the inside, but still just not able to build the momentum to get around Coivisto. So still Courtney at the front of the field with 6 laps to go, but Coivisto is the one that we are watching in this battle right here with Maudsley and Snelson. These three have been going at it for the entire race. And they are not cutting each other any slack out there right now. The moment somebody makes a mistake, somebody else is going to pounce on it. They've been swapping that spot a couple times throughout this race.
Yeah, it's been great racing between these three, and yeah, the racing gets hard, but if they're at the same time, and it looks like Maudsley had the run, but it looks like Maudsley's under attack from Snelson in the background.
Almost some contact there between Snelson and Maudsley, and wow, I mean, great job there from Snelson just to get it wound up just in time. Oh, but then going around is Snelson. Oh no! Oh no! Multiple cars collected in that one.
Oh, that was so...
Take a look at this one from the onboard of Plumley. You see there Maudsley and Snelson in front of him. Maudsley just completely misses his braking point. The back end comes around, and then Snelson gets collected and just nowhere to go there from Robert Plumley. Unfortunately, get collected, losing his entire nose on that one.
Yeah, that was just unfortunate for Plumley. He had nowhere to go, and unfortunately he got suspension damage by the look of it, and it looks like Snelson's... Yeah, Snelson's got...
The tires are all askew. He's going to have to take a tow, or I guess limp it back. You see the steering wheel about 60 degrees to the left. That's not normal from what I know of these cars.
Yeah, it looks like it's got pretty much bad steering damage. It looks like the battle for P9 is still going on as well, with Gieson and Gwendell and Old as well. So Gwendell and Old having a good race as well, just inside the top 10.
Yeah, up 5 spots, started 15th up to 10th, and working to get into 9th. One of the biggest movers of the race so far. We talked about Soko going from 9th to 3rd, currently dropped back to the 5th spot. But yeah, it looks like the biggest mover right now is Nicky Coivisto, 17th to 12th, and Gwendolyn Old right there as well, with moving up 5 spots from 15th to 10th, and looking to make that another spot as he's fighting very hard to get around Gieson for the 9th spot.
Yep, and considering that Gieson's not raced for for a while. I think his first time back. I think in this broadcast race. Good to see him inside the top 10, having a good run after starting in 12th, and went down the road as well, doing well to keep with him. So these guys are still pretty much together, and they evenly matched for pace, as you can see on the screen right now.
Yeah, half a second between them, and they're fighting very hard out there. Still 4 laps remaining for these guys to try to work their way up. They've got quite the gap up front. Let's drop back a little bit. Some drivers that we have not seen yet this race. This is Eugenio Massa and Dave Cohen battle for the 15th spot. And they're fighting very hard. They've got Roland Wallbank right there as well. So, yeah, look at this battle. I mean, this far into the race, 4 laps to go. 3 cars, again, another battle shaping up between them as we ride now on board with Dave Cohen.
Yeah, as they head round into the final corner now, and Dave Cohen he's got to be careful with this, because he's in contention for the F2 championship, so he needs to think of the long game, if you like, and just think of the points and just take them and to help him as well.
Yeah, it looks like Dave Cohen just gets a better launch every time and then has to back out of it. But now Dave's going through turn number 2 and just can't get the move done. Dipping 2 tires onto the right tire. Oh, Dave Cohen get the back end stepping out there on when he picked up the throttle, but able to keep his momentum going. Very skillful piece of driving there from Dave Cohen. Is that car wearing a kilt? Very interesting there from Dave Cohen, but I like it. I like the uniqueness that people do with their paints and their liveries here in iRacing. Oh, wow, very late move. There was not much in that, but able to keep things clean and pointed in the right direction. Dave Cohen, very aggressive, as we're now under 5 laps, now 3 laps to go.
Yeah, as Cohen gets sideways again, and he's doing well to keep hold of it. I was about to say what regarding his livery, it's as a Scotsman, I approve of it.
Yeah, now he's got to worry about not only what's in front of him, but what's behind him as well. Roland Wallbank starting to catch up into this fight as well. He's about another, say, couple tenths of a second off of Cohen and Massa. So all 3 of these cars still battling pretty good out there, but man, Dave going very aggressive here with just a handful of laps to go.
Yeah, absolutely. As he's caught back up to Massa coming across the line now.
And by the way, if I'm seeing this correctly, yes, we have our leader the championship leader, or actually the winner of last week's race, back out on track. Mick Claridge, after being involved in an accident on lap number 1, back out on track, and great to see just the dedication to the race, putting everything he can into it to try to make up as many spots. He's not going to have enough time to make up any laps on the cars that are out in front of him, but man, great to see him back up there as there's the 18 car of Matthew Maudsley getting around Steve O'Malley, and now he's going to do what he can to hold on to that spot for the last 2 laps.
Yep, so yeah, Maudsley gains another position and up into 13th place now after starting 18th, so having a good run is Matthew, and good to see him making progress through the field.
2 more laps to go, but let's take a look at your leader, Topi Korniemi, just flying out there with a 4.5 second lead over Rob Olenek, and not looking too shabby out there, as he's doing a great job of piloting that number 4 machine around this very technical turn, through that chicane, and now just around this racetrack. Not put a tire wrong yet. Doing a great job out there for Topi Korniemi.
Yeah, absolutely. He's having a great race, and making up for the disaster he had at Chicago last week, where he was running so well, and then unfortunately just issues out of his hand cost him a good result and a podium finish. But he's having a good race and managing to get some redemption, if you like, up at the front, and got about a 6.5 second lead. So what was it? Cohen's having issues in turn 1.
Oh, that curbing, just you saw how much it upset that race car, but take a look at the replay. Let's see if this is... Looks like he just tried to cut the second part too much. Oh, under braking? Oh, no. Multiple times of contact between the two of them, and then catching that yellow curbs, and it just launches the car. He's going to have some serious damage after that. Looks like he just misjudged his braking point. That car absolutely jumping out there. That's let's take a look back at your leader once again for the final lap. Topi Courtniemi came into the race sitting third, tied for second in points with McClarridge. They were 25 points back of Rob Olenek, and unfortunately for Topi, he's only going to make up 5 points because Robbo currently sits to still gain 45 points compared to 50 that you get for the win here in the Grand Prix Legends Series.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's Courtniemi's going around onto the back straight now, and he's got a back marker ahead of him, but I don't think he's going to worry about it too much. And I think he's just kind of just eased off a little bit just to get to the finish, and I think the back marker actually thinking about it is just going to let him by so he doesn't have to do another lap.
That's always an interesting trade-off. Do you take the extra lap to get the safety rating, or do you just kind of get your race over with and just kind of hang on for dear life? You know, just say, all right, well, I'm going to move on to the next race. But these guys just making mincemeat of this track. This race is absolutely flown by as Topi Courtniemi, through the final quarter, is a winner at Barcelona here in the Grand Prix Legends. Next across the line is going to be Rob Olenek, and then Ove Trengrade looks to finish in the third spot. Fourth, Michel Dunan's going to come across the line, and then Benjamin Soko takes the fifth. Quite the battle for ninth right now between Gwendolyn Old and Yuri Giesen. We'll have to see if he can't hold on to that Gwendolyn Old through the final couple of corners. Now through this other right-hander, and it's going to be Gwendolyn Old getting the ninth spot here, with Yuri Giesen wrapping up in the top 10. 11th spot is going to be Grissinger trying to hold on from Hideki from Koivisto, and not going to be able to make the move there was Koivisto, so it's going to be then Grissinger and Koivisto 11th and 12th. Maudsley pretty secure there in 13th, so we're going to go ahead and step aside to a short break and be back with your full field rundown, as well as some post-race interviews here from Barcelona. You're watching the Global Sim Racing channel. 20 laps here from Barcelona are in the books in the Grand Prix Legends Series, and these guys put on quite the show here today. Topi Courtniemi getting another win on his season, and that's going to be over Rob Olenek, your championship leader, by 6 seconds. Anove Trengray third, Michel Dudnan and Ben Soko wrapping up the top 5. Then John Olsen, Pekka Risto, Chris Murakami, Quinn Old, and Yuri Giesen wrapping up your top 10.
Finishing in 11th was Michael Greensinger after starting in 14th with Heidiki Koivisto finishing 12th, with Matthew Maudsley in 13th, with Steve O'Malley 14th, Roland Wallbank finishing 15th after starting 25th, Eugenio Massa in 16th, 17th is Douglas Nelson, Jordan Zocco in 18th, Dave Coe in 19th, and rounding out the 20 was Robert Reynolds.
And there you see on your screen the rest of your field finishing multiple laps down. Just give us a couple of minutes here while we wait for some drivers to join us for some post-race interviews. But man, it's been a fun one to watch here at Barcelona. Next week we've got another technical track at Laguna Seca. But let's bring in a race winner, Topi Courtniemi. Topi, what a fantastic drive for you. You get, I believe, your second win of the season here. Tell us about your race.
First of all, sorry for Mick. There was contact between us, and I think it was partially my fault. Maybe I was too close, and I think there was some net code because I didn't feel that thing in my car. But suddenly, Mick's car was pointing to the wrong direction in front of me, and I'm really sorry for him that I think he had to retire from the race. So, but otherwise, after that I got into a good flow, and almost lost it twice because I changed my shifting pattern into my 8-shifter, and I set it into the original Lotus 49 where it's a dogleg pattern where the first is in the lower left and the second is in the middle and in the front, and I just instinctually shifted into my old second, and I shifted into first in the middle of the corner, but fortunately I didn't lose it.
And it's a very, very different track compared to last week at Chicago, and the next week a lot of elevation changes with the corkscrew at Laguna Seca. How does the variety of tracks here in the series how do you feel about it? Do you like it? What would you like to see?
Oh, I kind of like it. Like last two tracks were very bumpy. It's like it keeps you on your toes all the time, and you have to kind of like drive a little conservatively. But like here, it's very smooth track, like baby's butt, if I might say, and I could really push the car to the limits, and I found a really good setup. If you have driven the old GPL, the original GPL, you could pull those 4-wheel drifts quite easily with some practice. And I don't know, I got the setup work so well with that it was really fun to drive here because I could put the car in controlled entry oversteer and then just keep the wheel in the middle and steer away with just the throttle, and it was great fun to drive here. These long sweepers are very good for this car.
Yeah, it was very, very fun to watch you out there, just the way that you handled the car around those sweeping corners. A lot of drivers had different lines through it. Maybe could you tell us, there's a lot of the sweeping corners here are right-handers. Does left versus right kind of play into your setup at all, or do you just kind of try to get the balance right and kind of just drive it?
I kind of thought about going asymmetrical with putting like some positive rear camber to the rear right, but looking at my lap times in practice, I didn't bother because I was fast enough already, so I just wanted a comfortable and consistent car to drive.
Yeah, you certainly were fast enough out there today as you get the win. Anybody like to say hello to or say thanks to out there?
Yeah, I think again to Mick, because he was as fast as me today. He could have had a great race today, but I think it was my mistake, and yeah. And who to say hello to? No, of course you guys. Like always, I love to watch these races afterwards. And I don't know, for everybody watching.
Well, hey, thanks for putting on a great show for everybody watching, and we will see you next week from Laguna Seca.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
That's Topi Courtney, your winner here today from Barcelona. It looks like next new face to the booth here is getting the first top 5 finish of the season. Benjamin Soko joins us here in the booth. Ryan, looks like you've caught up with him.
Yeah, Ben had a great race, and they started in 9th and managed to finish 5th in the end, and also had a good battle with Sheldon Dion for a while, Ben. It all had good fun, and you managed to come away with a top 5 result.
Yeah, it was an exciting race. I'm dripping with sweat now. But did I hear you say new face to the booth? Come on, guys.
I was on vacation last week. I'm sorry.
No. I haven't been racing this car for a while, but I've done the past couple of races. But I'm a seasoned veteran, guys. I helped start this broadcast back in 2017, guys. Jack and I set it up at this time slot. It's good stuff. But it's good to be back racing, and this is probably the most exciting race I've been in since my return to the broadcast race. I had a great battle with Ove and Michelle. But I'll tell you what, that the sunlight in your eyes down the back straight, that caught me out. Caught Ove out as well, actually. I think because we were passing the back marker, and when you're off the racing line, the sun doesn't get blocked by the trees. So for me anyway, I couldn't see my brake marker, and I think Ove had the same problem in that we both almost lost it. That was pretty funny, and that allowed Michelle to get on the back. I was really hoping to hold off Michelle for longer, but it's been a long time since I've had a good close battle with Michelle. So he was faster, but it was nice to be able to hang with him for a little while. It felt like the old days.
Yeah, I was about to ask as well. You've been getting closer and closer to the front again, and putting in some good drives. Have you been putting in a lot of practice, or is it just basically kind of just turn up?
I just arrive and drive. Been driving the car for so long that I just don't have the time or the effort to put in. I just like to race, so I have been racing a little bit more now that my brother's joined us in the 49 as well. So my practice has increased from half an hour before the race to maybe an hour before the race. So it doesn't make too much difference though. It all just whatever happens in the race happens in the race. I got lucky today, made a good start, and some people crashed out in front of me, and then for some reason I was able to pick up the pace when I was following Ove around. But yeah, I was hoping to hold him up for longer as well. He might remember back to a battle we had on the broadcasts at Monza. Must have been 2 or 3 years ago, where I managed to hold him off at the end for the win. I think it was for the win anyway. For the last few laps, and that was great too. So yeah, again, it's just really good to be fighting with Michelle and Ove, because only on rare occasions am I quick enough or in the position to battle with those guys. They're always too quick for me.
And looking ahead to Laguna Seca next week, are you planning to be on track again?
Yep, hoping to be back again. Laguna Seca, that always provides very suspenseful races. There's less corners on that track, so it makes you feel good when you're only like a lap slower than the guys at the front instead of 2. Just because there's less corners to be losing a 10th or 2 on. So I guarantee that'll be an exciting race at Laguna Seca for you guys to call.
Good stuff. Well, again, congratulations on a top 5 finish, Ben, and they look forward to seeing you on track next week along with your brother Jordan.
Thanks, guys. See you again.
As that was the 5th place finisher Benjamin Zoko joining us, and looking forward to Laguna next week, Chad. That should be a very, very good race.
It's one of my favorite tracks on the service for sure, and if I wasn't up here in the booth with you, I'd probably be out there trying to find my way around it in these Lotus 49s, because they seem like a blast to drive. But fantastic show today, and we expect to have the same next week, same time, same place. I have to say thanks to the broadcast companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcasts here on your screen. Additional thanks to June Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of her great work. And thanks to the entire squad today, Ryan, Sean, and Dougie. I'm Chad. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including upcoming races, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com, or you can check out our social media through the outlets listed at the bottom of the screen. If you'd like to support the channel, go check out our merchandise store at simracingmerch.com/GSRC. Link is in the description below. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well so you don't miss a moment here on GSRC. We also have upcoming races for other series listed on the screen, so check those out and mark them down in your calendar. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.